Hey guys, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay. Thanks for confirming, Jaspal. So we
Okay.
will be starting the session from 7. Okay. In the meanwhile, if you have any doubts regarding the yesterday's, the installation class, I would say, so you can ask, or if you have something you want to share, you can tell.
Yes, in
Okay.
the Jupyter, we are not able to actually not able to write down anything. How to start, sir, the program in Jupyter notebook?
Yesterday
Yesterday.
we were able to install Jupyter, right?
Yes, I will install. Yes.
So how did you how are you starting it?
We are starting through Jupyter only, through
Okay.
the console.
From the CMD.
Yes, sir.
What command are you using, Jaspal?
Okay, one moment.
Okay.
No, I just gone through this Jupyter, typed the Jupyter, and automatically it came.
Okay, you just type Jupyter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would say I would recommend to type Jupyter space notebook. Okay.
Jupyter stage. Oh, okay.
Space
Fine.
bar. Yeah. Notebook. And if that is not working for you, there is one more command that you can try. I would just try it in the chat.
Localhost oblique triple eight double eight double eight tree my envy.
Correct. That's the web. Yeah, correct. That's the web server. Exactly.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Today is not working, sir. Localhost oblique double eight double eight. Today is not opening. I bookmark that.
uh, you have to first start the server. So before
Okay.
starting that,
Yes.
you have to first start the environment. So you will see.
Okay.
I just follow the step that I am doing when
Okay, sir. Okay.
once
Fine,
the
fine.
class is started. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Yeah, you will get it. Okay. If you are not getting, just let me know. All right. So hey guys, good evening everyone. Welcome to the second day of Python. So how are you guys doing? I will be quickly sharing my screen. Okay. Just a minute. I'll just share my screen in a moment. Good. Okay. Doing amazing. Thanks for asking. Okay, sure. Yeah. Good to hear that people are doing good. And all right. So I've just shared my screen. You guys can let me know on the chat if you are able to see the screen. Is the screen visible, folks? All right. Cool. Okay. 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 So what I'm doing is I will be maintaining a certain structure, okay, of the folders and files. All right. So that it would be easy for everyone to access our class notes. So I've just created an empty folder for week 1, day 1. That was for yesterday's class. I'll just copy all these files to that. Okay. I'll just move them. Not copy, I'll just move them. Okay. All right. So for today's class, which is week 1, day 2, I will be creating a new folder. All right. So it is week 1, day 2. So you can also follow a similar structure. Would be really helpful for you. All right. Okay. So now we have created a new folder. So what I will do, uh, now we will be starting the Jupyter notebook. So in order to start the Jupyter notebook, we will be first start opening our command prompt over here, right? So let's start that. So I will be clicking on the address bar. I will be writing CMD. I'll hit enter. So I've got my CMD running on this exact path. Okay. So now here, first of all, I will be starting my virtual environment. So if you are on Windows, you should write something like this: dot slash myenv slash scripts slash activate. All right. So this should work for you. All right. If you are on Linux or Mac, you can try Python 3 space. Uh, I'm sorry, not Python 3. That won't do. Source space slash dot dot slash, I guess, dot slash ven my vnb. Just a minute, I'm typing on the chat. Okay, my venb slash bin slash activate. So it has been some time for me. Okay, guys. So just see that if dot is, if you are running this script and if it is getting activated, good and good. Okay. If it is not, then you should remove the dot. Okay. I'm not sure remembering that if the dot is necessary there. Okay. All right. And for I think Jaspreet, I guess. For sure. Okay. Uh, I think. Raghu, do you want to like share? I think accidentally your video is like turned on. You would want to like turn off maybe. So what I was saying, so
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm not able to start, sir. Can you tell me again, sir? I have gone to this Python class directory,
Mhm.
C colon Python class,
Are you able
activate
to,
typing, but
okay,
not
are you
activating.
are you able to see my env file, my env folder there?
Yes, yes. I'm
You are able
seeing.
to see, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will copy and paste this command on the chat. Just
Okay.
try to copy and paste it there. Okay,
Okay.
it
Okay.
will
Fine.
open. Yeah,
Okay. Here you're typing.
yeah, I have given in the chat.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Is it opening?
I'm just trying, sir. 1 minute.
All right, please try. Okay. Okay. So I hope everyone is coding just with me, right? Okay. So
Hello.
System cannot find the password.
yes, Mega.
Yeah. I have just one question. Like I have registered today only, and this is the session for day two, I think.
Yeah.
So what I need to do, like for day one, or because I don't know anything about this, so should
Not
I?
not a problem. So yeah, you can stay. Like we have not covered any. We have not even started anything yesterday. We were just doing some installation and all. Okay. So do you already have Python, or do you know Python and all?
No,
You are
no,
new to
like
this.
yeah, very new
Okay.
to this. So I just want to like prepare myself before going to this only. So like
Okay.
why this day two, I need to cover up to. Is there any other batch or do
Okay.
I
I'll
need
tell
to?
you. I'll tell. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you are in the right batch. Okay.
Okay.
But definitely you can discuss this with your, I don't know, look, someone who is assigned to you. There's some representative from EdYoda, I guess.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
but definitely I think this should be a right class. So you can watch this session, day one session, later when this class is over. Okay, so this will cover some installation stuffs. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, for meanwhile, like as you are already here, so do you have laptop in front of you?
Yeah. 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 I'm on
Okay.
laptop.
Okay. So I'll be sharing you a link. Just copy this link and paste it in your web browser. Okay. So just do that and we will be writing Python code there. Okay. So sign in there and you will get something like this, open notebook, create a new notebook. Okay. Click on new notebook. Okay. Just tell me once you have signed in. Okay. Then I'll tell you.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is the weekend batch only, right?
Yeah, this is the weekend batch. Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys. So for other folks, so if once you have started the virtual environment, now what we will do, we will start our Jupyter notebook. So we'll say Jupyter space notebook. All right. So once we do that, our Jupyter notebook will start in a moment. We'll have to wait for some time. Okay. Yes. I hope it looks similar to everyone else in the class.
Yeah, sorry, Kunal, sorry to disturb.
Yes, no problem.
Uh, Kunal, actually, I am getting this error. Source is not recognized as an internal or external command. When I'm using the command mynb bin slash activate, I'm getting this
Uh-huh.
error.
So on which, like, are you on Windows 10?
Yes, yesterday everything was fine only. Version
Okay.
also, yeah, Windows 10.0 to
You are
6.7.
in the exact folder. Are you in the exact folder?
Like exact folder in the sense?
Like in the folder where your my environment file folder is there, like this. Are you not inside the my right, sir? You are outside the my
Yeah,
you are able to see this like
yeah,
this.
no, no, I'm outside. I'm
Correct.
not in the
All
folder.
right, all right. So
Sir, excuse me, sir. The very easy, simple way is go to my env and click on that folder scripts.exe in that folder. Very easy to do that.
no, I don't
You are
think
doing
that
the other way, sir, through command prompt. You
you
can
are
do
saying that
this also.
coming here.
Yes,
Okay,
you can activate from here.
is it?
Very simple, yes, sir.
You are saying
Click
that
on
I have to open this.
activate, sir.
Oh, activate
Activate.exe batch file.
batch file like
Batch
this.
file, sir. This
So
activate.
that won't actually activate. It would just run it, right? So we have to activate in a real console. So
Okay, okay. But I got it activated, sir.
that's good if it's working for you. I don't know how, but it should
I
not
don't
work.
know.
But technically, okay, no
The
problem.
Python also notebook opened.
Okay, so for I think it was Anand, right? Who was that?
Asif.
Ashish. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Ashish, so you have opened CMD, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I would say copy and paste this. Okay. This should actually do. Are you
yeah,
pasting
I'm
the
okay.
exact?
Yes, exactly. Because you are already shared in the chat
Mm-hmm.
group.
Okay. So you are opening this and it's still saying not opening.
Yes, that
So
error I'm getting.
are you logged in as an administrator?
Yes,
Okay. So
maybe
can you
yesterday.
copy and paste the error what you're seeing?
Yeah, just a minute.
So one fix I can tell you what we can do is well, okay, that should not be the case. Jupyter is not recognized. Yeah, environment is activated definitely. All right, all right. Uh, Not recognized international. Okay, no problem. So what we can do is, if it is not working, do this. Python space dash m space notebook. Okay. Yeah, source is not recognized because source will not be recognized because that is for Linux folks. Okay, that won't work. So I'm sharing 3 commands. Okay, one of the 3 would work for you folks. Okay, just a minute.
Okay.
So try this. Any one of the 3 would work. All right. Just let me know. Is it working now, or are you still getting the error?
No model name. No.
Okay, Python was not found. Python 3 was okay. Python no module no notebook. Okay, so what you do is do pip install notebook. Okay, pip install notebook. Try doing that once.
PIP space install
Hmm.
notebook, right?
Yes, pip install notebook.
Yeah, it's working.
It's working, right? And someone
Yes,
else was saying that they are getting this error. Ashish Pan. Okay, no, not
yes,
Ashish.
yes.
Ashish Vaishak. Is this working for you, Vaishak? With the fixes that I gave, is going on? All right, cool, cool, cool. Okay, okay, done, right? Nice, nice. Nice to hear that. All right, then. So let's then go ahead with the class. So now what I will do is that I will just open this folder, week 1, day 2. Okay, you can organize this later, guys. for now, just create a new notebook. Okay. Just do this Python 3. Just click on this Python 3 after clicking on this drop down on the right hand side. Okay. So we will get our new notebook. We'll just click on the untitled part on the top left side. Okay. Then we have to just say week 1, day 2. You can have your own name. I'm just following some conventions I used to follow. Okay. All right. So that's all. So let's then start the class. Okay. So today's topic is data types. Okay. So the first topic is data types. Okay. So what is data? What do we know about data? So we all know that data is nothing but just the collection of gathered informations by observations, research, or measurement or analysis, right? So that's basically a data. So what kinds of data do we know? So there is like statements, right, that we talk. Like let's say I'm saying someone's name, right? So that's a kind of data, right? So it can be a data. So if I say, hey, I am studying, studying Python. This is also a data, right? Then what other things can be data? Numbers can be data, right? 1, 2, or a 3. What else? The decimal values, right? These all, everything can be a data, isn't it? Then the complex numbers are data, isn't it? So these are some kinds of data that we have on planet Earth, right? That we know we work with computers. So if I say complex number, I would say 2 plus I 6I, let's say. So, but just for an information regarding this complex number, this is not how in Python we store. It is similar, but in a different way. All right. Okay. So, so these are some kinds of data. So let us try to classify the data that we have in Python. Okay. So the first thing which we wrote, the first two data, those are string data. Okay. So you guys can help me out here for the folks who are already from, other coding backgrounds, they would be knowing this, right? So what data do we have? So string data type. What are the other data types, guys? We have integer data type, isn't it? So if I say string data type, correct. So string would be some examples. I would say, correct. Name, let's say clean, I can have multiple things here, isn't it? Then we have correct Boolean, before that integer data type, right? We have integer data type. So integer are 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then we have something called as, yeah, float decimal. So if I just write number, in the number, we have these many things, isn't it? Integer, float, right? Okay. Then we have Boolean data type. So what is a Boolean data type? Boolean data type is something just two values. It consists of two values, true or false, isn't it? So it would be true or false. These are the two data types here, right? In Boolean. These are the datas we have. So what else? Complex, isn't it? Complex data type. So in the complex data type, how do we write here in Python? We would write, let's say 5 plus 3j. So this is how you write complex, okay? This is how you write 5 plus 3j or 2 plus 6j, or if you just want the complex part, 9j, right? This is the way you write. All right. So yeah, definitely. There is one thing more, which is a none data type. Okay. Means nothing. Some programming languages, it would be undefined. Okay. Yeah. You guys can write, chat directly on the group chat. Okay. You don't need to write it personally to me. Okay. Okay. So these are some kind of data types we have like singleton, okay? But there are some other kinds of data type which are like I would say a container kind of data type, right? Just a minute, give me a minute, okay? We will get to all those questions. First of all, let's go with data types and all, okay? We'll see all those things, okay? All right. Anyways, so what I was saying is that the other kinds of data types are collection types, right? So collection data types are some things which stores the other data types, right? So what are those? So those would be, list that we in some programming languages you might be knowing arrays, right? So it looks like an array. So list would be one of them. Then, so this is how a list is defined. One, two. One thing is different on Python over other languages that in list we can store heterogeneous data types. Okay, not just a single data type. Just like in C, if you guys know C and other languages like that, if you have integer array, you will have to just have integer values inside that, right? So in list, it does not have those limitations. You can have different kinds of data as well. So it can be something like elephant, anything. It can also have a Boolean along with all this. Okay. After that, we have something called as a tuple. Okay. Tuple is similar to list, but it has some different features that we will see later. Okay. So that is also similar, a collection. All right. One difference if I want to tell you right now, it would be that list is a mutable data type. Okay. Mutable data type, and tuple would be an immutable data type. Does anyone know what is the difference between mutable and immutable right now?
Mutable is changing the date. We can change it. Mutable
Okay.
is we cannot.
Correct. Correct. So once the data is defined, we can change the values inside that, right? So all the data types which are of those kind are called mutable data types. Okay. Yeah. So not the data itself will change, but we can add or remove the datas in the collection. We can increase the number of data or we can decrease them, right? So that's why it is called mutable. Okay. In immutable, that is not possible, unfortunately, because that's how it is built. Okay. Then we have, okay, anyways. So apart from tuple, we have something called a set. Okay. Everyone is comfortable, like everyone knows what a set is, right? We have something called as a set. Set can also store, so what is the feature with set is, it stores only unique data, okay? It stores unique data. Okay, you cannot have redundant data over here, unlike list and tuple. So inside the list, you can have, a redundant data. Okay, but in a set, in a tuple also you can have a redundant data, but in a set, it's not possible. It stores unique data. Okay, so then we have something called as a dictionary. So dictionary is, I'm sorry. Okay, so dictionary is a collection of key value pairs. Okay. So as its name suggests, it's a dictionary. It will have a key and a value. So the key value pair will be a single data. Okay. As a single element, it will be treated. So how would it look? How would it look like? It would look like this. It would be, let's say, a key can be any immutable data type. Okay. So we can name it as value one, let's say a string. Okay. And this is the syntax of writing a key value pair. We use a colon, then a space, then a value. The value would be anything, right? It can be 125, let's say. Then to have another data, like another key value pair inside a dictionary, we'll have to put a comma and then a value 2. All right. Then the value 2 could be anything else. It can be a list. Okay. Then we can have a next value. This time let's have a key as an integer. Okay, 5 colon, and the value would be something, let's say string 2 something. Okay, so this is a dictionary. So dictionary is a mutable data type. Okay, it's a mutable data type. So once it is defined, we can actually add or remove the data from it. Okay,
So set is also mutable, right?
yeah, correct. That's, I was also going to say that. Yeah, correct. Set is also a mutable data type. Set is also a mutable data type. All right. Yes. What else do we have? We have one more that I want to show you folks right now is range. Okay. So range data type. So range data type, it is also an immutable data type. Okay, so it is basically as its name suggests, it's a range. So how do we define it? We define it like this. So we would say range of 10, let's say. Okay, so this is the basic way to define. Okay, so if we have said range of 10, so it will store the values from 0 to 9. Okay, that's how it is, and it is also an immutable data type. Okay. Okay, so yeah. So that's those are the data types, folks. Like at least I remember, like if I don't forget, like someone said byte, right? So byte is also a data, correct? So yeah, those are also a datas. But we will see, we will be seeing these many datas only. Okay, we won't be seeing others. Like we can definitely have more. Yeah.
Just one question.
Mhm.
Uh, let's say I'm creating a set with duplicate values,
Okay.
and when I perform some like transformations or something like something, so like let's say x is equal to 1122 comma 3. Okay, 1122 3.
Okay. So all one, one, two, two, three, matlab 5 elements, all are individual elements, right?
Yeah, individual elements.
Mhm.
One is duplicate, two is duplicate.
Correct.
So, like, is it possible to create that, or like it will defaultly, when I perform some operation, it will delete the duplicates?
Yeah, your set will be created, but definitely with the unique elements. Okay, so all the duplicate elements will be removed. Only one of them will be stored. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. So guys, we just known that how many data types are there in Python. So now let's see how do we like store those data, right? So there is something called as a variable. I think most of us know already, right? So variable, even if you don't are not familiar with programming, variable, you know it in mathematics, right? So in mathematics, we used to say let x be 5, let x be 3, right? So that's how we use variable, right? So similar to that, we can have those variable, just that we don't have to write let. Okay, we just have to write any name of the variable. Variable can be of any name. Okay, so we'll have, let's say you can have variable just a single name, let's say a, that's all, and you will have just an assignment operator equals to, and you can store the value. So store the data over here. Okay, so let's store some data. All right, so we'll say a equals to let us say Harjeet. Okay, let's say Harjeet. All right, so now we have Harjeet string stored in a variable. So now if whenever I want to use this a, like whenever I want to use this name, I will not have to write this name every time. I will just have to write a. Okay, so if I just write a, and if you remember from the last class, we just saw print, right? So what does print do? When we write print function and we pass this argument a, so it basically prints whatever it is, whatever value is passed inside it. Okay, so that is Harjeet. So we just, stored our value in a variable, and yeah. So similar to that, we can store other values as well, you know. So let us try doing that as well. So we can do, we can have a complex number, let's say 3j. So if I just print a, all right, you can see that we got 5 plus 3j. Okay. So this is how we assign the values. Okay. Okay. Any questions still here? I think this is very primitive, right? No questions. But if you have, you can ask.
Just one question, like, what are these arrays? What under what type they come under?
Sorry.
Arrays, like what are these arrays and under what time they'll come? What type of data types they come under?
Arrays, if I say, see, in Python, directly we don't have an array. We have a list, we have a tuple. Okay. But in NumPy, we have something called as an array. But if you use NumPy library, you will have an array. Okay. So normally these are collection data types. Okay. So you can tell it as sequence types. Okay. These are sequence types. All right. So you can use it just like array. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yes. Okay. So another feature, if I want to show you folks of this calculator, this mode, our this Jupyter, if I want to show with the datas, we can do other operations as well. If I just start coding, a normal coding, if you want to do, you can do addition, subtraction, those operations. Okay. So you can try 5 plus 3. If you did 5 plus 3, you will get 8, right? Like that. It's as simple as that. So 7 plus 2. All right. Let's say 8 minus 2, 6, 10 minus 100, right? So what are these plus minus, folks? So these are called operators. Okay. So these are called operators. Correct. Created this dictionary getting syntax error. Okay. So just give me some minute. Okay. Some moment, RS. I will tell you why you are getting, but just for now, because you are getting, I would tell instead of using a big bracket, try using curly bracket. Okay. That's the reason why you are getting an error. So if you observe here in the dictionary, what I did this. Okay. Okay. Just for you folks, because I have introduced you folks with the data. So before going to operators, let me just just use all these values and show you anyways. Okay. That does make sense. All right. Let me do that for you folks. All right. So let's start with, so you have seen that we have these, single datas, right? Like string we have seen, number we have seen, we have seen complex. Similar to that, you can use bool and none. All right. Let's see some collections. All right. So let's say if you want to have a collection, like a list. All right. If you want to have a list, you can say d equals to, d is a name, which is a variable. Now you can just add some values. You can say 1 comma 5 comma, let's say something. All right. Let's say rs. Okay. And you got your list. Now if you print d, you can get rs. All right. Okay, I want just as I remembered. So there is one Python function which actually helps you to know that which data type you have written, right? It should be logical, right? If you have written something, you should be able to see, right, which data type it is. So that method is type. Correct. So if you write type of D, you will see that it will say list. See, it says list, right? So like that, if let's say A, right? We have, what do we have in A? We have, I think, a complex, right? So let's see what is the type of A. Is it a string or a complex? Now you can see it says complex. But what happens if I just rewrite it with 5? What do you guys think will happen if I write print type of A? Any volunteers?
Int.
Correct. It would be integer, right? It says class int. So it says class int because in Python, everything is an object. Okay. If everything is an object, that means it has a class. All right. That is why it says class int, but it's an integer type. Okay. Similar to that, if I just go ahead and write, let's say a dictionary. All right. If I say, let's say b equals to, let me write a dictionary. Okay. I'll say k colon 25. Just a single with a single element. Okay. I'll say print print type of P. Let's see what happens. It says class dict, right? So it's a dictionary. Okay. Now let's have a set. Okay. I'll have s equals to 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now if I say type of s, you'll see that it says set, right? So yeah. So we just have used one more Python predefined function, which is a type. Okay.
Why
Does
not
this?
class for a set?
Okay, yeah, this is also a class. So okay, that is one good question. Why it is not saying class and why it is saying class over here? So basically, what is happening when you type, when you write and pass anything inside the print, okay? So it actually stringifies it, okay? So when you, if I write print
Okay, got
and
it.
if I say type S, it will say class set. But if I
Mhm.
directly write type S, so it will return what this function is returning. You can observe this. And when I'm
Yeah.
using print, it is not writing any number on the left hand side, right? But if I'm just writing directly type S over here, it's saying 15. That means it's a return. It's a returned value from that function. But definitely don't worry. If you already know what a return type is, what a returning of a function is, then it is good. But if you don't know, we will come it on a function class. Okay. Okay. Just know that it is something. The function is returning. It is giving out. Okay.
Yeah,
And yeah.
just one question. Like
Mhm.
there is a integer as a data type we have. We don't have a long data type.
No, we don't have long. Actually, you haven't teaser.
Okay,
We will see more on integers what we have. Okay.
okay.
Sure. Okay, so like that we have seen. Okay, let's see tuple also. Okay, tuple is interesting. Uh, let's have tuple 1, 2, 3. If I just say type of L, we'll see it's a tuple, right? Then we have uh one more thing which is a range. Okay, so this is the last. I'll say range. So there are different ways to define a range. Basically, it is not just a single like you can write like just 5. So normally if I define range like this, just like normally, what will happen? Let me store it somewhere. Okay, I'll store it in R. All right. So if I print R, you'll see it says the range of 0 to 5. But you can definitely have it as give a start value instead of 0. You can give it a another start value like you know we will see when we see ranges more. You can write 1, 5. Okay. So I know guys, you have some questions, some very mm, uh, particular questions regarding many things, but just be with me. I will cover all the questions. Okay. Everything will come on place. All right. So now you can see the type is range. Okay. I will acknowledge every questions. Okay. So yes. So we have class range. So now we have seen, right? So all the data types, that's how basically the type function is. Okay. Okay. So quickly let's jump to operators. Okay.
So just one thing in range, like I can say range 0, 5 as well, right? Directly.
You can definitely say 0, 5 as well. You can say that, but as range will by default take 0, so it's of no use to say 0, 5. But yeah, you can tell. In range, there is one more way that you can have a step values as well. So that is called as a step value that it has a one more argument, but we will see that later. Okay. For you,
Okay.
if you want to experiment, you can do a comma here and just write something too, and you can see what
Step.
you
Step.
get. That's a step value. Yes. All right. So operators, folks. So there are certain kinds of operators in Python. Okay. So what are the divisions that Python has done on operators are? So let me uh, write the groups of operators that we have in Python. So the first would be arithmetic operators. Okay, arithmetic operators. All right. I think many of you would be knowing. Okay. Then we will have something called as assignment operators. Operators. Okay. Then we have comparison operators. Then we'll have something called as a logical operator. And so on. Like there will be identity operators. Okay. If I quickly just write all of them. So for arithmetic operators, it is, what are the arithmetic operators, folks? Plus, minus, isn't it? Division, multiplication, right? So these are the operations that we have. Then we have double slash, which is a flow division. Okay. Then we have modulus. Okay. Then we have power off. Okay. So these are the arithmetic operations. Then we have assignment operators. Okay. So we will see them one by one. Okay. So just because I have written arithmetic example, so let's see some arithmetic operations over here. So we have seen plus minus. We'll see division. So if you see 2 by, let's say you say 2 by 1, you'll see that we got a float value, right? It divided it. So if you have 4 by 2, you'll get 2, right? Like that. You have multiplication operator. You can say 5 times 3, 15, right? Then you have a floor division. Let's say you say 5. First of all, let's have a simple division, 5 by 2. You'll see we get 2.5, right? Now, if we do a floor division, we'll see that we'll just get 2, right? Then we have module operator, that means remainder, right? So if you say 5 mod 2, you'll see that we'll get 1, right? Then we have power. Let's say you want to say 3 to the power of 4. Okay. Let's say we want to say 3 to the power of 4. How do you say that? So you will say 3 power 4. You'll get 81, isn't it? Okay. So that's all operators that we have. Okay. Any questions in operators? I don't think, right?
The sequence, like sometimes we get some interview questions, right? Like they give braces and
So that is bed mass, right? In computer, we have followed bed mass. Bracket
okay, same.
exponential, multiplication, addition, sorry, multiplication, division, like that. Sorry, I just forgot. It's bed mass, right? Bed mass. So bracket, exponential, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, right?
It's board mass. B-O.
Bod mass is when we know in mathematics, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because we have like, yeah. So we can say this, right?
The exponential is that. Okay.
All right. So when we have Python assignment operator. So let's see some Python assignment operators. So the assignment operators, that the very basic one we know is equals to. Then we have plus equals to, right?
Kunal,
Yes, yes.
let's say for example, like in the divisor operator, like
Mhm.
the single one, like 5 divided by 2, 2.5, right?
5 divided by 2.5.
No, just 2.
Okay, just 2. Okay.
So why we are getting float values always?
Uh, because that's how division is, right? So division will always give you a float value. If you want to have the integer value, what you can do, you can typecast it. There is something called as a typecasting. Okay. Because when you divide something, you don't know that always the value would be a singleton, right? So it can go into decimals. So for decimal sake, like in Python, we will always have a float value for division. Okay, by default. So if you say
Okay.
5 by 3, 7 by 3, you will get 2.33335, right? But if you just wanted a 2, maybe just 2, you can just say 7 by 3. You will see that you will get 2, right? It's an integer, that because it's a float division.
Okay, okay, got it.
Got it. So there is something called as, typecasting also. So you can do typecasting as well. So we have seen all those types right here. Integer type, float type. So these are actually methods as well. Okay. So I will show. Okay. I'll show once we have completed operators, we'll go there also. Okay. Just be with me for some more time. Okay. All right. So then we have some assignment operators. So what are these operators, right? Plus equals to, minus equals to. So let's see. Let's see some assignment operators. Okay. Assignment operators. Let's see. So normally we how do we do an equals to assignment? We'll say a equals to, let's say 3. All right. So we have a equals to 3. Now if we want to add 1 to it, how would you do that? You would say a equals to, so first of all you will say a plus 1, right? A plus 1. So a plus 1 will give us 4, but has the value of a changed? Let's see. No, it has not, right? Because what we would have to do, we would have to save this a plus 1 back to a, right? So what we will say? We will say a equals to a plus 1. When we do that, now if we print a, you will see that we got 4. Okay. So now the value of a is changed and it is stored in the a. So there is more Pythonic way to do that. So that is a plus equals to 1. So in some other programming languages, it would look like a plus plus, right? I think C plus plus and Python, not Python, Java, C, we have a plus plus. But here, instead of that, we have a plus equals to the value to which you want to extend that. Okay. So we have 5 now. So if you want to, let's say, add, let's say, increment a by 5, what would you do? You would say a plus equals to 5. You will see that now the value of a is changed to 10. Right. Similar to that, if we want to, let's say, get a decrement to that. Okay. We want to decrement the value. How would we decrement? Let's say I want to decrement to 2. All right. So I'll say a minus equals to 2. What would be the value of a? It would be 8. Right. See, it's now 8. Okay. Similar to that, we have some other things as well, other increment ways also. We don't just have plus equals to or minus equals to, we also have all these arithmetic operators, clubbed way here. Okay. So you can do, division equals to, you can say, let's say, if you want to divide something on a and save that value to a. So we can say a by equals to 2. What would it do? Does anyone wants to answer this? A by equals to 2. Just a
4.
small exercise. Correct. It would say 4.0, right? Because that's a float value. Right. Correct. So, yeah. So similar to that, we also have power. So you can say a, let's say you want to have a by equals to, let's say 1. Okay. And now let's say I'll say a power equals to 2. Now can anyone tell me what would be the solution? What will be the value of a? Any
4.
guesses? Any
What is it?
guesses?
It's 7.
Okay. Okay.
Hello.
Someone says 7. Okay. Okay. I'll just
No,
write.
no, the value is 7 or 2. I just can't see that.
Oh, the value is the value above, if you can observe, it was 4 in 42. Cell 42, the value of a was 4. Now what we did, I said a flow division with 1, and then I
Oh,
said a
16.
power of 2. Okay, 16, correct. 16. So that should be 16, right? It will be 16.0 basically, but yeah. All right. So with that, all right, I'll just add those things as well here. I'll say by equals to, I'll say by equals to, okay. You guys can practice this modulus as well. Okay. Modulus and asterisk. You can try it. Okay. Okay.
So one thing, this workbook will be shared, right?
Okay, yeah. So the last class I did not share because we didn't have anything right written there. But now it's good that you brought that up. All right, guys. So I will share the workbook in my GitHub. Okay. So what I'm doing is I will just create a, just a minute. I'll just create a new repo. Let me just create it. Just create a new repo. I'll name this as PYMD2. Okay. I'll share the link as well in the session description. Okay. So oh, sorry, load an existing file. Changes. All right. I'll commit the latest changes as well. Okay. Okay. So I'll just share this link with you folks. You can visit this. Okay. After class, I'll just update the notes here. Okay. So every day's notes will be updated here. All right, guys. So you can check it. Also, I'll just add it here in the session description. Okay, I'll do that later. But yeah, so basically you can access the class notes from here. You can click on this for those who don't know Git. So you will be able to see the class notebook, whatever we have studied. It will be like this. Okay. All right. Okay. So what are comparison operators? So what do you guys think is a comparison operator? Something which compares, right? So comparison operators are used to compare two values, isn't it? So those are equals to, greater than equals to, less than equals to, right? Not equals to, right? We have not equals to. What else do we have? We have greater than, we have less than, right? These are some 6 kinds of comparison operators we have. Okay. So these comparison operators returns true or false value. Okay. So let's say I want to check that we have some values, let's say a. Okay, let's say if I want to check that if a is equals to 8.0, what we would get if I do this, if I do shift plus enter, we would get false, right? Because it compared and it's not the same, that's why we got false. Let's say if I try a equals to 16, what do you guys think we will be getting? Will it be true or false?
True.
Okay, someone says true. Anyone else? Everyone says true.
False.
Okay, why false?
Oh, yeah, it's true. It's true. Like I was
Okay,
just yeah. It's based on previous value. It is 16. So
okay,
A is 16 now. So it will be true.
okay. Let's see. So it says true, right? Correct. So I know this was very basic. So you guys observed this, right? Because it was A over here in this cell. So what happens basically in the cell is this is also a good part of Jupyter Notebook that you can see your answers just in the above cell and you can just observe this, right? Okay. All right. So like that, if I say A is greater than equals to 2, it will give us true, right? But if I say A is less than 5, that is not true. It will say false, right? So like that, those are the uses. So you can also, let's also try not equals to. If we say A is not equals to 16, okay, so that would be a false value because A is actually 16, right? Okay, where did we go? All right. So Oh, sorry. We have logical operator. Okay. So there are three kinds of logical operators in Python. So I'll just write them. The first one is AND. So AND operator returns true if both the statements on its left hand side and the right hand sides are true. Okay. I'll just write it returns true if both the statements are true. Okay. Both the statements are true. Then we have OR operator. So OR will return true if any of the statements are true. Okay. It returns true if any of the statements are true. Okay. Then we have one more logical operator which says not. So not actually reverses the result and returns false if the result is true, and vice versa. Okay. It reverses the result and returns false if the result is true, or vice versa. Okay. That's what it does. Okay. So let us see. Let us see each of them. Okay, just a minute. I will do one thing. We had assignment operators, then we saw uh, assignment operators, then we saw is I did not added here arithmetic operators. Okay, I'll just write just a minute. Arithmetic operator. All right. Then we saw comparison operator, right? So
How did you made that heading?
yeah, I was just going to say, okay. So there were two operations that I did. I automatically created a cell, right? If you observe, I just did this, right? So that's a shortcut. So there are two ways to do this. One is you can click on here. It adds a cell below the cell you want to add, okay? So if you click on 43, if you would have clicked cell this would have given a new cell. The other is you have to click on escape and A. A would give a cell above that. And if you want to delete the cell, you can say escape plus dd, 2 times d. I'll just write those cheat codes here, okay? And yeah.
Okay.
And then regarding how did I do the did I made this big? So now if you observe, if you click on this cell, okay? Now if you observe here in the drop down in the top, it says code, right? If you click on the code, you'll see there are three modes: code, markdown, and raw. Okay. So that's a markdown mode. So you can see that once I have clicked on markdown mode, so the number on the left hand side or the bracket on the left hand side has been disappeared. So now this is now in a markdown mode. So that's a markdown script. So
Yeah.
you can find the markdown script cheat code here, markdown cheat code. Here it is. So it's just for your knowledge. You can see here, these are the markdown cheat codes. You can try these things. You can have a bold text, italicized text, backquote, list, order list, code and all. These things you can try. I'll just copy this and paste it in the chat for folks who are interested. Also, I'll just do this in the, in the start maybe, or maybe in the end.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. So you can just visit this website and you can see all the markdown things. Okay. All right. So what I was saying is the comparison operator. Comparison operator. All right. So we have some comparison operator. Then we have logical operator. Right. Just copy this. Now let's see logical operator. So in order to make this as a markdown, the cheat code is that escape plus M. Okay. Escape, click on escape and click on M. So this cell will become a markdown. If you want to revert it back to a code, you can say escape plus Y. it will become code. Okay. I will write those code also, and I will be like discussing that in the entire class. So you will remember this anyways. Okay. So logical operator. Alright, so we have logical operator. So as I said, let's start with and. So let's have a value of x to be, let's say, 25. Okay. So now if I want to have some logical operations, let's say I want to say that if x is less than 30 and x is let's say greater than x is greater than 20. Okay. What should be the value? The value should be true. Correct. Yes. Why? Because both the comparisons were true, right? Now I'll give some comparisons. I would want you guys to like try it out. Okay. No, this is very basic. Let's say greater than equals to 50 and x is less than 5. What do you guys think?
False.
Correct. Straight false. Like that, likewise, we have an OR operator. So this was an AND operator. Okay. AND operator. Then we have OR operator. So how the OR operator would work? K plus B to create a new cell below. So the OR operator would be, let's say, A equals to, let's say something RS. All right. I would say, let's say A is equals to RS, or A is equals to 5. So one of them is true, right? A equals to RS is true, but A equals to 5 is false. But because it's an OR operator, it will return true. Because that's the feature of OR operator, right? We know this already, that it returns true if any of the statements are true. So similar to that, then we have a NOT operator. So NOT operator is funny. It reverses your Boolean expression. So let's say if I say A equals to RS, okay? So normally it will say true, but if you just say not of, it will say false, okay? It will just return false. Similar to that, if you just say not of A equals to 5, it will say true, right? So that's funny with not operator actually, because that's what it does. It just says the not, right? It reverses the value. All right. Then we have identity operator. So what is an identity operator? So identity operator is used to compare the objects, you know. So it is used to compare the objects. So this is a kind of a bit advanced concept actually for now. But right now, as I said that, you know, Python is an object-oriented programming, so everything is an object. So just to explain for right now, you know this, that you guys know this, that every variable or every data that we are storing, it is stored in some address location, right? So it basically compares that the address. Let me first write. Okay, let's say is an identity operator. So what does is does basically, it will compare your statement 1 shares the same memory location as the statement 2. Okay, it compares the memory locations basically. Okay, so we will see this example as well. Okay, so then we have is. So it is like a pointers, but because there is no concept of pointer in Python, we use identity operators to just check that if it simply check that if they are same object with the same memory location. That's what it checks. Okay. Then it returns true. So if you say is, So it will return true if both, variables are the same object. Okay. Else what happens? I'm sorry, what I'm writing. Else it will return false. Okay. Then we have something called as is not. You guys might have already, predicted, right? What is not does? It does the reverse, right? It returns true if both the variables are not the same object. Okay. So let us see. Okay. Let's try to see some of the applications. So, yeah, please tell.
Just one question. Um, let's say, for example, you're saying is if both variables are the same object.
Yes,
So the values in the variables also should match, right?
exactly. So that's how it will be same thing, right? That's the idea of same, isn't it?
Okay.
So basically, not exactly here, because different data types, Python handles it different way. There are some data types in which what you said stands true. That means the values are same. That means they are the same object. But for some data types, even if the values are same, those won't be the same object. Okay, Python will create different objects altogether, even if the values are same. Okay, so I will just show you. Let's see that. Okay, so what we will do, we will quickly go in our file here. Okay, yeah, you can ask.
Yeah. It's kind of like one interview question. I think this is.
Yeah, correct. You have got it right. Okay, so let's create identity.py. Okay, .py. Yes, or let me make it identity example one underscore example one .py. I hope you guys remember how to create a Python file, right? So, have you guys installed VS Code? I just want a poll. Have you guys installed VS Code?
I have installed it.
Everyone has installed? I would recommend you to try installing it. If you face any challenges, uh, you can reach out to me. I'll just, if you guys have Viber, you can reach out to me. I'm writing my username here. All right. So this is username. You can reach out to me. I can help you out there. Okay. But it is very intuitive and simple, guys. Okay. You can just, yesterday, we just had this. We had downloaded, right? The VS Code. You can just double click to it. Okay. I'll just quickly give a overview. Okay. I accept the agreement. Okay. I'll say next. Create a desktop icon. Okay. The shell restart, request shell restart. So I'll have to restart the shell. Like that, you'll have to give next, next, next. It would be just intuitive. Okay. You don't have to worry. Just like that. I will be exiting it because we already have it. I won't be installing it again. But yeah, that's the basic idea. All right. But for now, if you don't have VS Code, what you can do, you can open it using right click, open it using Notepad. Okay. But because I have it, I would just leverage it. Okay. I'll just open it with code. Okay. So now what I will do, let's try to write some codes here. Okay. Using identity operator. So I'll write identity operator. All right. Okay. So let's have some variables. I'll first say a equals to 23. Okay. A equals to 23. So, and I'll say B equals to 23. Okay. So are those the same thing? Are those the same object? Let us see. I'll say print A is B. Okay, let me save it. Okay. One more thing. When you have installed VS Code, you should go to these extensions and you should write Python here. Okay. Once you write Python here, you will see that the first thing comes, right? Python support. It would be the most popular one. Okay. You can see the most downloads are there. Just install that thing. Okay. So once you have installed this thing here, what will happen? That you will be able to see this play button on the right hand side, top right hand side. Okay. So this will help you to run this Python code directly without going into terminal. Okay. So I'll just leverage this thing here. I'll just click on that. Once I do that, you will see that I got the value true. All right. Are you guys able to do this? Has everyone tried this? This was the very basic example, right?
So
Don't
Kunal,
do
one
it.
question. So
Yes.
Kunal, one question. So does it mean that if the two variables are having the same value, Python internally stores them in the same memory location?
Yeah, as I just said, the Sid also asked the same question. So you're right. Like there are, okay. To answer that, I will have to tell you more about mutability. Okay.
Correct.
Yes. So there is something, there is a concept called as a mutability in Python. Okay. So there are some variables, some data types which are immutable data types, and some data types which are a mutable type. Okay. So I actually had reserved that in some time I wanted to show. So, but as you just said that the mutable data types won't have the same object. Okay. But immutables will have. Okay.
Okay, so basically you're saying a tuple or
Yes, a
a,
tuple is a immutable. So if you just say a equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3, all right, b equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3. So let me make it not a and b, let's have it x and y.
correct, correct.
Okay, all right, I'll write it as x and y. Then what will happen? I'll try to say x is y. Print went funny. All right. Then what I will do, I will also have one more value. I'll say a1 equals to, let me have a list. Okay. 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay. a2 equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay. So when you try these two things, okay, if you say a1 is a2, it will give false. For x is y, it will give true. Why I will not show it right now, because there are some folks who don't, who will start to panic. Okay.
No, just wanted to be sure because
Yes.
from a memory location perspective,
Yeah, I will be
immutable.
coming. I will be coming to that in a moment. Okay, just
Alright.
give me some time. Okay, I'll be just coming to that. All right. Anyways, guys. So now, as you see that it got true, right? Now, if I say let's say a equals to 26, some, and just we incremented it to 1, and I'll keep b as 23. Let me have it 24 and 23. Okay. Now, if I say a is b. Now let's see what happens. If I run it again, you'll see that it says false, right? For the first, it gave true, then it gave false. Why? Because those are two different values. Okay. So those do not share the same memory location also. So how do you see the memory location? So there is something called as ID in Python. Okay. If you just say print ID of A, okay, comma, ID of B. And now if you run this, just a minute to remove this comment box here. Okay. You can see the IDs are same, right? 140768. These things are same, right? But for the case of this, if I come here, if I say ID of A, okay, ID of B. So it will say those will have different IDs because those are different values altogether, right? Okay, that's why it says false. Okay. All right. So coming to the point which RS and Sid was actually asking, just give me a minute. I'll just attach my notepad here. And I'll just draw a diagram to explain that. Okay. Just this. Okay. It seems that I have lost maybe for the pen for now. Maybe I'll have to search it. All right, I cannot draw right now. Okay, so there is a concept in Python which is called mutability. Okay, so to understand this identity operation, first we have to understand mutability. Okay, so there are the data types are classified basically into two types. Okay, so there are some data types which are called immutable data types. Okay, immutable data types. And then there are some data types which are mutable data types. Mutable data types. So the immutable data types are the data types which won't change, whose value won't change once they are defined. You cannot change its value. Okay. So those would be immutable data types. The data types lies inside the immutable classification would be integer, string, float. Okay. Float, complex,
Tuple.
correct. Tuple, none. Okay. These are immutable data types. Okay. Can you guys tell me what are the mutable data types?
So just one thing, Kunal, like null is like null is like none.
Yeah, null is not here in Python. We have just none.
Kunal, one doubt though, because if you're saying int is immutable, if I say a is equal to 23 and then in the next line I say a is equal to a plus 100, the value of a changes, so it is mutable, right?
That is correct. The value of a changes, but okay, I'll show you that.
That's a
So
variable, I think.
yeah, correct. Because a is a variable. So if you say a equals to 23, let's say, okay. So now let's check the ID of a, okay. Let's check the ID of a. It says this 140 something something, right? Now let's try to check the ID of 23. You can see ID of 23 is also same, right? Now let us do one thing. Let's say a plus equals to 1. Let's just increment it with 1, right? And now let's say print ID of a. And I will also print ID of 23. Okay. Print ID of 23. All right. Now you can see the ID of A has been changed, right? But the ID of 23 remains same.
Remains same.
Correct.
So
Got
a
it.
bare core integer value itself won't change, the address won't change, but the address of the variable can change.
Correct. So yeah, correct. The core characteristic, the core value won't change itself, right? So because that is immutable, right? So number won't be changing. So we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those are absolutes, right? It won't suddenly change. We cannot make changes in that. But now let's come to, let's say there would be some other, data types which are mutable data types, like list, right? Like set, like dictionary. Okay. And we also have, what else? Okay. Let it be till here. Okay. And for immutable, we have one more, which is range, right? So for the mutable data types, the IDs will be different. So let me show you that. Okay. How does that work? Okay. So now let me just uncomment these 3 lines. Okay. I'll just comment those above lines. Okay. For now. Okay. And let me just run this. See, X and Y both are tuples. Okay. And that's why it says true. Why? Because those are immutable values, right? If I just go and write print id of X, and if I say comma id of Y, no, it will be same. It will be true. Okay, because we cannot make any changes in a tuple because it's an immutable data type. All right. That's why when you put an identity operator to the tuple, it will always say true, right? Because X is Y. It's same. It will say the same object. All right. But if the case comes for the list, let's have A1 and A2. Okay, uncommented. So you can see that A1 is also the same value, right? Everyone can observe this. A123 and A123, A2123, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I will show a crazy thing here. Okay. If I say A1 equals to A2, so normally it will say true. Sorry, I just printed it. See, it says true because the values are same. Okay. I'll just comment these lines up here. Just a minute. Okay. Now you can see the values are same, right? The values are same. That's why it says true. Let me say CLS here. All right. But as soon as I say A1 is A2, now you can see how Python reacts to that. It will say false. Why it does say false? Because A1 and A2 are immutable. Because they are immutable, they will have different objects. Okay. So if I say print ID of A1, okay, comma ID of A2, what will happen? You will see there will be a difference in the IDs, right? Does this make sense to everyone?
Yeah. So basically, you're saying that for any immutable object, the address is always different.
No, for any immutable objects, the addresses are same. Like with the same value, definitely. For any
With the same
immutable,
value. But if the
yeah.
values are different, then okay.
Yes, definitely. The values are, it's like us, right? Like a single person can have, like for us, let's say you are RS, right? So you will have the passport for different countries, but you are the same person, right? But your home can be a different thing. Like it's a collection of people, folks, right? So here in your hometown, your parents will be living in your place where you are working. You will alone be living there, right? So those will be have a different addresses. If you think something like that. So
Got it. Thank you.
is there any doubt for the folks?
Let's say for an example for interview, let's say if they ask such type of questions, simple thing what we can say is like objects will have different IDs, so it will return false, and object members, if we are comparing with equal to, so that is compared with object members, not the object IDs. That's where
Okay.
it returns true, right?
Okay, see. Okay. So equals to, what does it do? It compares the value, right? If you remember, over here in the comparison part, I said that equals to, what does it do? It compares the value, right? But
Yeah.
for is, what we said, that both variables are same object. It is not comparing the value, just the values. It will also compare if they are the same objects, if they share the same memory locations. right? So some data types which can have the same values but can have different memory locations. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Kunal. The actual thing is like I'm just just trying to in interviews what will happen is that they just want that point what that makes sense. So here it might be only 3 points that would make sense. Yeah, got it.
Got it, right? So interview is a dynamic platform, right? It's a dynamic place. Anyone can ask anything. But if someone asks you that, if someone asks what is the difference between equals to and is, we can directly say, simply say that equals to compares the values, whereas is compares the memory location. Does
Yeah.
that correct? All right. Is this clear to everyone? Like, is this concept clear to everyone in the class? Like,
Yes.
you can write on chat, guys. Like, I just because this is an important concept. If you understood, then we can like continue from here. Everyone got it? Okay, I've got enough yeses. Okay, then it's cool. We can then carry on. Okay. Alrighty. So we have seen logical operators, membership, not membership. We did not see membership. Just some mutability. Just a minute. I'll just mutable and immutable objects. Okay. So we have seen identity. So similar to that, guys, is not will behave just opposite to what is behaves. That is a no-brainer, right? We can just understand it by logic. We don't need like an example because we know how not would behave, right? So you can try that on your system. Okay. So then we have something called as a membership operator. Okay. Membership operator is really interesting. Membership operator. Membership operator, what does it do? Membership operators are basically used to test if a sequence is present in an object. Okay. It is used to test if a sequence is present in an object. Okay. We know that everything in a everything in a Python is an object. So I would say instead of uh, object, I would say iterable. Okay, I will say iterable to give you more clearer picture. Okay, so basically, what do I mean by this? So first of all, let me introduce you with few membership operator. So we have in and not in. Okay, so what does in do? So basically, it tells you that if the item present in the left hand side is present in the iterable in the right hand side or the collection in the right hand side. Okay. Slash collection slash object. Okay. So let us see that. What do I mean by that? Okay. Membership operator. These guys should not be H1. Okay. So let's have a list. Okay. Let me define a list. 1, 2, 5, let's say Sharad. Okay. Let's have this. Now, if I want to know that Sharad is available in list L, how would I do that? So membership operator is someone who helps us to do that. So if I say Sharad in L, you will see that I will get false. I will get false because we have Sharad, but with capital S, right? So now if I say capital S, Harad Sharad in L, then we will, just a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll get true, right? So membership operator basically helps us to figure out that if some element is present inside the uh, iterable or a collection. Okay.
Sure. Kunal, I might be jumping the gun by asking this question. Usually in Python, if I'm looking at a very large data set and if I use this membership operator, do you think it is performant? For example, if I have a list of like say 1,000 elements and I'm saying membership of some of the element, I'm checking if it is there or not. Do you think it is performant? And if that particular list actually exists in a file or something?
Well, if you see, there are two ways actually to do that, right? There are some ways. So one is if you don't want to use a membership operator, you will have to do something like a, binary search or some sort of linear search, isn't it?
Correct. Right.
So definitely in would have a better, time complexity. Okay.
Correct.
Yes.
So
Because
instead of
Python, they have made this, right, built-in thing, right? So it would definitely have a better performance.
no, I know in might have a better performance, but in might actually require a looping, which means more of CPU. So I was just wondering which is better if the list is small, then membership is better, and probably if the list is large, then iteration is better. That's how you are alluding to.
That's actually a very good question. Well, I think I will get back to you on that because right now on top of it, I don't remember what that is. So we may
No
have to
worries.
do
I
some
think we can
experimenting.
have all these clarification questions probably towards the end. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just was thinking that
Yeah,
if they have
that's a good one.
provided
Yeah.
membership,
Mhm.
is it only to check for smaller sets?
Yeah, so not just smaller, I would say, like based on my experience, like it is used like to actually check in a number of sets, right? It's not just in sets, like sometimes in an object, we can check certain things just by using in. Okay. So, but yeah, definitely we can discuss on this in a later class. Sure. I'll just also look on the question that you said and sure.
Thank you so much.
Yep, cool. So just for now, if we see 1 in L, right? So that will give us true. What if we say 3 in L? It will give us false, right? Similar to that, if I go with the membership operator not in, what would happen? If I say 3 not in L, what do you guys will happen? True, right? Because it is an N, it will always give not of it, right? Does that make sense? Okay, guys, so this was operators. So I will have to just check what are the other things scheduled for today. Okay, we saw data types, we saw operators, we saw, did we see condition? No, we didn't see conditional statements, right? Okay, so let's see some things on string, arrays, and dictionary, okay? Because we have some time, so let us see. Do you guys want to see these things? Are you up for it? You guys have energy? Or do you want this to in the next class?
Let's finish off now. I mean, I don't want to speak for others.
Okay,
Since we are in the flow, I thought we could finish off.
that does make sense. Okay. Okay. Okay then. So let's start with strings then, okay? If everyone is agreeing to continue, just give me 1 minute, okay? I'll just come back in a moment. I'll just have a glass of water, okay?
बिट्टी और सोनू गए हुए थे आज शालीमार बाग फ्रूट देकर आए हैं
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So let's start with strings then. Okay. Let's start with strings. So I hope you folks don't have any doubts above. So strings. So what are strings? So we already are now familiar at this point of time. How do we write strings? But anyways, I would I'm going to tell it. So there are three ways how you can define a string in Python. That is a single quote. Okay. We can define a string using single quote. You would think something like this. Okay. Then we have double quote, not verbal. Double quotes, double quote, blah blah blah. Okay. Then we have something called as a multi-line string. Okay. So it will have a triple quote, multi-line strings. Multi-line strings. So basically these are called single line string. Okay. Single line strings. So these are single line strings. Okay. Then we have multi-line string. So in multi-line string also we have single quote. Single quote. We can make it using single quote. So how would it look? It would look like this. Hey, I am from multi-line and I am the next line. Okay. This is the multi-line. Then we will have using single triple quotes. Then we have double quotes. Okay. Hey, I am from double quote multi-line string. I'm just writing something, okay? And I am the next line, okay? All right, so these are the four ways basically how you can write, you can define a string in Python. So I would just give a show here, like how your single quote is different from a triple quote. Single quotes are different from multi-line strings. So let's see. So if you try, let's say line 1, okay, and line 2 here, using a single quote, you'll get an error, okay, because that's not how you define a multi-line string. But if you just give a triple quotes, and then you write line 1, line 2, line 3, you'll see that it won't have any problem. By default, it will take, line 1, line 2, line 3. Okay. So just for an FYI, you can actually store these things in a variable S. Let's say I'm storing this in a variable S. Just Control C and paste it in a new line. I'll just create some more cells by clicking Escape plus B. Okay, so that will have some more room here. And now if I say print S, you will see that it will be beautifully printed, right? So the use cases, normally we would use multi-line string as a doc. We call it sometimes as a doc string. Okay. It is used for documentation purposes. Okay. It is used to, write some comments for the files or the functions or classes. So let's say for this module, okay, entity, okay. So instead we can actually go ahead and write a multi-line string here, and we can write that this file shows the example for is identity operator. Okay. We can use single or double quote inside it without any hesitation, and that's fine. Okay. So that is one of the most popular use case for triple quote. Okay. That's basically how do we define a string. All right. But most of the time we will be using a single line string. Okay, guys. So let's start with that. So we will assign a value, assign a string value to a variable first. I'll say, hey, hello, let's say. Okay, I'll just say hello. Okay. So how do you print that thing? You just have to say print a, so that will print our string to us. Okay. All right. So now there is some, so now let's say, guys, like we have our string. We would there is a way how we can, if I, let's say, if I want to tell you, if I want to ask, I have a question. What is the first element of the A? What is the first element of A, guys? Can anyone tell me? What value is there? H, right? Correct. Correct. H, right? So how do you access? Okay, Jocelyn, can you please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So it's H, right? So uh, okay, we will get to those questions. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay. All right. So how do we access those data? Okay. So first of all, to understand that, we would first understand that how Python stores this. Okay. So this hello, each of the elements of the hello will be stored in in an order. It will have an index values. Okay. Each of these values will have some index. So it will start, the indexing will start from 0 till the length of the string -1. Okay. So if I that means if I want to know that what is the first value of H, I would have to just use this index, and Python will tell us how to do that. We'll have to just write the name of the variable, start the square bracket, just like in other programming languages you do with array, that is supported here in string also. You just have to pass 0, which is a first index, and that's all. You'll get H, right? So Python does not have a character data type. Okay. So a single character also is simply a string with length of 1. All right. That makes sense. So if we want to access any of the element of a string, we can use it using the square brackets. Okay. So let's say I want to access, if let's say if I say, what is the length of, first of all, let us check the length of this A, right? String A. So for that, we have a built-in function, which is len. I'll say len of A, that will give us 5. So what is the last index of the string A? Can anyone tell me? What is the last index?
4.
4, right? Correct. That's 4. It says O, right? What happens if I say A of 5? What would happen? It would give us an error, which is an index error, right? Let's see what happens, why it is. It says index error, right? String index out of range. So we'll have to, if we want to access the values, what we can do, we'll have to, like, if we want to access the last value, we'll have to know what is the length of the string and then -1 to it, okay? So until we are putting the index value, which is less than the length of the string, we won't get this error, right? So let's say if I say A of 2, what do we get? We'll get L, right? See, it's L. Okay. Did you guys get it? How do we access the values of string? Fine, right? No issues with this. Everyone is settled? Yes? All right. Now comes an interesting part in Python. What Python gives to you, that's the selling point of Python. So Python supports something called as a negative indexing. So normally, what is the function of length? So Jasleen, as you saw, length basically gives us the length of the string, right? The it is the length of the string, how many characters the string has. Got it? Right. Okay. So let's say you wanted the last index, but because you don't know what is the length, so the string's length can be anything, right? So let's say our string one is, let's say something, hey, I am dancing. What is the length of the string? It will be difficult to like count, right? Every time 1, 2, 3, right? Normally you don't know it. You will have to every time find the length of it and then do a -1. Then you will be able to get the last value, isn't it? So normally what you will do in the normal cases, you will just say S1 of length of S1, right? -1. Okay. Then you will get G. Does this make sense? Just does line 75 make sense to everyone? Folks, does this line make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Cool. So this is a very lengthy thing, right? Like this, you can do this definitely, but there is a very smart way to do this in Python. That is a negative indexing. So it is called negative indexing. So Python supports negative indexing. So what we can do, we can say S1 of -1. Okay, we will get G. Okay. So now what is happening? So if I just write, I'll just copy this. Hey, I am dancing. Okay. If I just write it like this here, okay. And now if I would say, let's say I will remove all the spaces. Okay. Let me remove all the spaces. Okay. It would be an easier task for me to explain. Okay. Now let us count all the index. Okay. So the index would be like 0. Okay. 0 for H. This is not a string, guys. Okay. This is just for explaining. Okay, so do not get the wrong idea. So E would be 1. The index value of E would be 1. Index value of Y would be 2, right? Index value of I would be 3. Oh, just a minute. Index value of A would be 4, like that, 5 for M. D would be 6. A would be 7. N would be 8. 9 for C. 10 for I. 11 for N. 12 for G, right? So this is the indexing basically, right? But if you, so Python is a zero index language, right? So every time the indexing will start from 0. Okay. But for the case of negative indexing, what would happen is the indexing will start from -1. Okay. So it will be -1 for G. Okay. -2. -3. -4. Right, like that. So it will be -4 like that. It will go till here. So it will be -11, right? You can count it. See, you guys can count this, right?
Can I interrupt?
Yes, 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 yes.
But for the string which is an S1, it has spaces also. It would be more than 12, right?
Sorry. Spaces?
S1 has, I mean, after hey there is a space, after I there
Yes.
is a space.
Yes.
So it would be more than 12 characters, right?
Yeah, correct. That's why what I said that like let's remove the spaces for the example sake. Okay. Definitely.
Okay.
That will also have an index value. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So space would be at third. So because I removed 3 spaces, so you can add like G would be at around, 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And the H from the negative side, it would be 14. Got it?
Yes.
Just to make things simple, I have just removed the spaces. Okay, otherwise, yeah, that is true. Yeah. So that's how basically a negative indexing works. So you can access the first element by telling, if I just copy S1, okay, let me copy S1 and let me remove the spaces just for the sake of correctness here. Okay. Now if I say S1 of 0, S1 of 0, it would say me H. But if I say S1 of, if I say S1 of
-11.
-11, correct. It would say me,
It'll show you the same.
Yeah,
Sorry,
because there
it's
are spaces in between, right? So, oh, you changed the string.
I've changed,
Okay.
right? Okay. So, okay, sorry, I said -1, right? -1, it should be Y, right? Y. Okay, let's -13. Okay. Oh, maybe I may have done some. Am I doing something wrong? Okay, yeah. It's not -11, it's -13, right? Because we are not starting from 0. We are starting from 1, right? So it will be always +1. You guys got this, right? It would always be +1 because the indexing from the negative side, it is starting from 1 and not from 0. Although it's -1, but yeah, that's why it would be 13. So yeah. So that's how we can access it from the positive side and the negative side as well. Okay. Does this make sense to everyone? Yes. Okay. So now what we can do is that we can use membership operator on this as well. So let's say you want to check that if dancing is present in the string S1, what you can do, you can say if AM, just you can write AM in S1. You'll see that you'll get true because that's present, right? So those things you can try. Those are crazy stuff. You can do that. Okay. All right. So now let's get to the another topic, which is called slicing. Okay. Let's get to the other topic. It is slicing. So what is slicing? Does anyone know what a slicing is in Python? Who already know about the language? Just in case you know. It's fine if you don't know. So slicing is basically, slicing helps us to return the range of characters. Okay. That's what it does. What does it? Helps us to return the range of the characters. Okay. So how does it work? So let's say I have a string which says, let's say, EdYoda. All right. So I just want Yoda, let's say. Okay. So I know the syntax of Y, right? So what I can do is I can slice it out. How do I slice it? Slicing just means like cutting and returning the range. Okay. It is just like a slicing, like you have a bread, if you slice it from some place, you get the rest part of it, right? So like that. So what we can say, we'll start a square bracket just like we do in indexing. We will just put the first index, which would be, let's say, 0, 1, 2. The index of Y is 2, right, guys? It's 2. Then we'll do colon and That's all. We got Yoda. Okay. So what is the syntax of slicing? Syntax of slicing. The syntax of slicing is string bracket start value colon end value step value. Okay. Yes, that's a substring. That is a substring, right? Okay. Got it. So we can do a number of interesting things, right? So let me have a string, let's say a equals to, let's say a equals to a b c d e f g h I j k l m n o p q r s t u v w x y z. Right. Now let's play with it for a moment. Okay. So now let's say I want to have because we know all the index values, right? The total number of characters are 26. So what would be the index of Z, guys? How many of you say 26?
25.
Okay. RS says 25. All right. How many of you folks say 26? 25. Everyone says 25, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So it is 25. That's correct. Because the index will start from 0. That's correct. So that we know for fact, right? 0 to 25. Not 1 to 0 to 25. All right. So now I will just run this cell. So let's say I want A to the index value 7, let's say. Okay. So how do I write that? So I would say 0 colon, what should I write? 7, right? Isn't it? I want the character on 7. So what is the character on 7? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? I want everything till H, including H. So if I say A 0 to 7, you will see that I will get till G. Why? Because when we do slicing, the end, so what does Python does is basically it will give the range excluding the end value. Okay, it will give you end -1. Okay, so if we want till 20, like till H, we will have to say A of 0 to 8. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool, right? Yeah. Similar to that, if you want, let's say, whole A to Z. Okay, before that, there is one more way how you can write this. You can actually neglect 0. So if you neglect 0, if you just write colon 8, what will happen? Python will by default take the first value as 0. Okay, and it will give you the same result. So you don't need to write 0 if you want it from the start. All right. So now let's say you want everything from H to till the end. Let's say till Z. What would you do? Anyone wants to try?
A8 colon.
A 8 8 colon
Yeah, finish bracket.
finish bracket. Okay. All right. So that is almost correct, but it's not because
7. Okay.
correct. Yes. So the start value will be included. The end value will be excluded, right? So uh, instead of 8, we should have said 7, right? So
Yes.
if we say 7, then we'll get our value. But that was a good analysis, right? We can just not write the end value, but at all, if we wanted to write the end value, what would be the end index value? Can you tell?
25.
Are you sure?
Oh, 26. So it is not included.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. That makes sense to everyone? Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, cool. Okay. So now that we have understood start and the end value, let us try to understand what is the step value. All right. So step value is just like the staircase. Okay. So normal, the default stair value would be 1, right? You will start from the 0, you'll go to 1, you'll go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? But you can actually jump the steps, isn't it? So how do you jump the step? Let me show you. You can say 0 to, let's say, um, let's have jumping from start to end. So what I will say, I will not write the start value, I will not write the end value, because Python will take it as default. If I don't write the start or end value, it will by default take the start value as 0 and the end value as 26. Okay. And for the step value, I will write 2. Okay. All right. So you will see that it will start from A, but it will jump the every second value. It will jump B, it will go to C. It will jump to D, E, like this. Okay. So this is basically called striding. Okay. This is called striding. All right. When you're using the step value, it becomes a striding. Okay. I would just remove this from here because I actually wrote it incorrect. It is syntax for slicing. The syntax for striding is using the step value. Syntax for striding is string start and step. Okay. That is it. Any doubts in this? Any questions? You can jump as much as you want. You can say, you can say colon 5. You'll get something like this. It will jump from 5. You can even jump on your own terms. You can start jumping from the second index. And how you will jump, you can say, let's say you want to jump every 3 numbers after that. You can get all these things, like crazy things. You can try it out, okay? As in homework, try it out. All right, okay. Now, another interesting thing about striding is you cannot just go jumping ahead. You can actually have a reverse jump as well. Do you know? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Instead of jumping from A to Z, you can actually come back from Z to A. Like you can print the reverse of the string using striding. How to do that? You just have to say A of colon -1. So when you do that, you will see that Python will by default set the values here. Okay. So now the question is that what if you had to set it, what would be the value? What would be the start value? That is the question. Okay. Think this. What would be the start value? What would be the end value if you had to put it? Can you guys think? I will give a hint. 26 was the last, like 25 was the last index.
25 to
Okay.
0.
25 to 0. Is this correct, right? Let's see. So that was almost correct. That's a good start. But because we wrote 0, so what happened?
It is not included.
Yes, it actually did not include the starting index, isn't it? So what we have to do, we have to remove that, right? We can say -1. Right? Oh, apologies. I'm sorry. Yep. Not -1. Yep. Okay. We don't have to include anything if we want till A, right? If we want something, like you have to remember this theory, what we said, which we just learned here, that regarding end won't change irrespective of the step value, whether it is a negative or a positive. If you put any step value, the Python will not consider that step value. It will just consider till n-1. Okay. like that. So because it was we had to go till the first index. So 0, if you say -1, it would try to say -2, and that does not make sense to Python. So that's why it did not print anything. Okay. So if I want till, let's say, C, what would I say? We'll say 25. What is the index of C? It is 0, 1, 2, right? I'll just say 1. Okay. You will see that you will get everything till C. Okay. Like that, you can perform other striding operations also here. You can say 25. You can even not say 25. You can say 20. Let's go with 20. Let's say -2, not -2. Let's say 2, and let's say -2. Okay, as a part of step. You'll see that we got something more interesting and crazy here, right? Or else, if you just want to stick with the basic, if you just want to say, 2, you don't want to print anything else, you can just say, Z, it will start with Z, but it will jump every second value. It will jump from Z to W, Z to X, X to V, V to U, right? Can we end now? Yes, sir. But is this clear to everyone? Strings, is this clear to everyone? Let's end the session. Yeah, sure. I just forgot the time. Yeah. Was this clear to everyone? Is there any doubt?
Yeah, Kunal, clear.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for joining the class. Let's see you folks in the next week. Okay. I will update this notes in the GitHub. Okay. And I will also add that as a part of notes there in the class. Okay. All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Kunal.
Thank you.
Good.
Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you.